Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are once again on the road, knocking out another state on our medical journey road trip because Arkansas just does not offer the medical care that Kimberly needs. We've been to this state before. It's actually Oklahoma. We're headed to Oklahoma City to knock out her fifth and final MRI of her MRI series. We've sent the other four up to the neurosurgeon. They've been looking at those, had their people looking at them. But they're waiting on this final one to look at before they can decide what the next steps are going to be that we need to do. We tried to get this done in Arkansas because you might be thinking, it's an MRI. Why can't somebody in Arkansas do it? Well, evidently, they just don't know how because we called several places. Most of them didn't even know what it was. Then some tried to say X-ray, and it's completely different. So, did some research. Kimberly found this place in Oklahoma City. It's an upright MRI place because she has to have
It's a flexion extension neck MRI. It sounds simple because all you have to do is like bend your head all the way forward, all the way up for these extra views. But apparently they don't order those in Arkansas.
We tried to tell them because the neurosurgeon told us how to explain to them how to do it using a pillow, but they still couldn't figure it out. So we are having to go to Oklahoma City. Like I said, it's 5 hours away versus 17, so that's good because the other option was have to go back to Maryland for it. Because we tried to check Memphis and Tulsa and stuff that was a little bit closer, but there was just nobody there.
No.
And whenever we talked to this place, they were like, yeah, we do that. And it just so happens, evidently, they get quite a few people from Arkansas coming there for this type of MRI. So hopefully we can get this knocked out. It's supposed to be a pretty quick process, so the longest part's going to be the drive.
I'm hoping that I don't really know how an upright MRI works.
Right.
That's the only part I know. But I know it's an open MRI, so it's not the big long tube, obviously, I mean, if you're upright. But I don't know if you sit. Hopefully you sit, not stand.
I would think so, because trying to stand in one place.
Stand still for 30, 45 minutes, whatever it is.
I mean, they may strap you down in a chair so you don't move.
Yeah, I don't know, because I just know that when I look up toward the ceiling or all the way down toward the floor, the room starts spinning, so we'll have fun with that. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it'll last.
So we had a bunch of weather coming yesterday that was supposed to cause icy conditions. Thankfully, temperature stayed above freezing for the bulk of that, so we had no trouble with the roads. We've got a couple more hours to go to get there, and we're going to meet some friends for lunch. So
yeah, excited about that, because at least that's one perk of having to drive this far is you get to actually see some friends.
Yeah, because we've been to Oklahoma a lot, as y'all know.
Yeah. But
it's we call it another state on our medical journey road trip because this is the first time we had to come here for medical care.
Yeah.
So, here's a question for you. What's the most states you've traveled through or had to travel to for medical care? Leave it down in the comments. The thing about Arkansas, it's got some perks, low cost of living, stuff like that, but you have to sacrifice some things when you get those, and evidently medical care is one of those because, like I said, they've got some good doctors, but when you get more specialized stuff, they just don't have it there. So
no, and that's a major problem, and it's crazy that, I mean, I'm still baffled, and I mean, we've been going through this for a long time, and I'm still baffled that we don't have doctors that can even address this issue. I mean, hearing malformation, yeah, it's considered, I mean, somewhat rare, but there's still, for it to be so rare, I know a lot of people who have it.
I was going to say, once you have it, it becomes less rare because all the people that also have it start talking to you and stuff, and so maybe it's not as rare as what people think. They just never heard of it, so they don't really talk about it. But
yeah, and
we've run across a few since then.
A lot of people, they're just like, well, I'm not going to do any surgery, so I'm like, well, you know, that's great if you can avoid it. That's really great if you can avoid it. Not everybody has to, but...
And if you can't avoid it, check your surgeons well, because...
Yeah.
Otherwise, you may be in the same boat as us.
But, I mean, we were kind of fooled, too, because, I mean, we were supposed to be at one of the best medical groups for this particular thing, but, I mean, you can't always trust everything you read or hear.
Correct. And still, there's one thing that still unnerves me a little bit about the surgeon we had for that, is he talked about all these surgeries he's done and everything, and it wasn't until after the fact he's like, well, most of them's been on babies, but it's basically the same thing. And I'm thinking, not really, because like a baby's skull and stuff is still developing, so it's going to grow and things like that. Where when you're an adult, it's already there. So I'm like, maybe you should have come clean with that up front, because maybe we would have got a second opinion sooner.
Well, and I mean, the fact that we also did not have brain MRI before brain surgery. That's still
crazy,
really
too. I mean, who goes on a treasure hunt with no treasure map?
Yeah. Well, and I had to, last week, gather up all of my old MRIs to send to Baltimore.
Yes.
Everything dating back since 2017, which I may have actually had a couple images before that. I don't know, because this has been going on since 2015. But I would have had to go a lot further for that. So I wasn't going to go get a disc from them.
I don't think that we had anything before that, because everything else they thought was the meningitis.
That's true. But I thought I had some at the big hospital that we went to that one time, but that could have been a different type of image too. It's been so long, I don't remember. But yeah, I had to get images from 2017, 2020, and of course going for 2024, because they wanted to compare, you know, pre-surgery and any kind of progression to, you know, what they can see now, because they're like, maybe some minute changes. I'm just impressed with how thorough they're being about everything. And I mean, the PA called me again last week and talked about, you know, about what all they were going to do and what all they were waiting on. You know, they're waiting on this test. She wanted to see all the old images. That way they could have a comprehensive plan and make sure that they're doing what's right for me. And I'm really thankful for that, because we've not ever had this level of care.
Because what the goal is when we go back to Baltimore, we're hoping it's a one-stop shop.
Yes.
They want all the stuff done ahead of time so they can get a plan of action. And they said that there may be more testing, but they can plan it part of the time and go ahead and schedule any other procedure stuff that might have to do, and just cancel whatever we don't need once they get everything done. Yeah. But that way we're not just having to go back and forth constantly up there, because I'll tell you this, we're flying next time.
Absolutely.
That drive was awful.
Yeah.
And it might have been that we both went to work immediately after getting back.
Yeah.
I think that was worse.
rough.
I think we'd had a couple days to recoup. It wouldn't have been as bad, because the drive itself didn't seem terrible. Going up there did whenever we hit the traffic. But
yeah. Well, and we talked to him specifically about any of the surgeries, procedures, whatever that he might need to do. And we were like, can I fly after that? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. Which
he said the biggest concern was the grimy seats you put your head on. He said, so definitely take some alcohol wipes and clean those down, because everybody's nasty heads have been on those, and that's where the incision would be, and we got to keep that clean. He said our hair would help with that too, though.
Yeah, which I probably would also like bring a pillow and pillowcase and stuff like that too, just to be safe. I mean, everything I could possibly do to prevent any kind of infection or issues. I mean, I would try to do that. I don't know. Still, I mean, we're still a couple steps away from this now, but just thinking ahead and wondering if today's test is going to show anything, because it's a toss-up with me. I mean, as far as...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But I don't know what I hope for. I don't know if I hope that something shows something or if it doesn't. But...
we just want answers.
Really want answers. Pretty badly.
Hopefully good answers, but...
yes.
Answers nonetheless, because not knowing and being in this pretty much life of limbo is getting old.
Yeah.
Especially for her. She's going to have to deal with all the pain.
Yeah. I mean, so the other day, I took the girls to see a movie, and then took them shopping. Izzy wanted to ride in the cart because it was getting late and she was getting tired. It's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. She gets tired early. And I pushed her in the cart. Should not have, probably. Because, I mean, they're getting bigger. But today's the first day in a couple days that I haven't got up with a migraine ever since that. And I mean, that has to be the only thing that did it, unless it was just weather changes or whatever, because...
Even the weather coming in.
Yeah, it could be. But it just, after the fact, I was like, man, I'm kind of sore and my head kind of hurts. And I'm like, that is not okay. That I can't push a shopping cart without getting a headache.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to see how this turns out. Well, there they are. All right, so like we said before, we were meeting some friends, and you probably just saw the vehicle and have a clue as to who we were meeting.
That's right. We're right here. They had to come to lovely Oklahoma and get our service. You know, Oklahoma's the best.
Yeah.
We ate at Kaysen's favorite restaurant,
Yep.
and they didn't even bring it.
I know.
Yep.
I know. We're not going to tell Kaysen about Charleston's, but yeah. No, we're glad that y'all reached out. Let us know y'all's coming up, because it was. It's only about an hour for us, so it's always nice to get together and visit. And
It's the closest we were going to be for a while.
Yeah.
to March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a while.
Yeah.
That is a while, for sure.
It is. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Really, really great food though, and we've had a great time getting to visit, and fixing to have to head over for this appointment. But if y'all are not already subscribed to the Eddie's channels, this is Eddie Family Farm and Life on the Eddie Family Farm, Brandon and Stephanie Eddie, and they've got wonderful kids and wonderful content, and you guys will absolutely love it. So make sure you go check them out. All right, guys, well, that is done. Last one on the list is completed. Don't know anything for a while. Working on getting everything uploaded right now to their online system so that it goes directly to my doctor at Maryland.
It's like 150 images.
Yeah, there's
And
a lot.
we're having to use hotspot, so
Yeah,
a little slower than our fiber at home.
Yep, but main thing is this is done. That was brutal. Others are, I mean, you're laying down for them and it's fine. The machine is really, really awesome though. I mean, you are literally sitting up in this deal, and they even have the TV on and all that. But for the flexion extension views, like I had to lean my head as far as I could forward, and then they put a little deal in between, and like I rested my head on it. Took like 2.5 minutes, and then had to lean as far back as I could, rested on a little deal, and then another 2.5 minutes. It seems like about 30. I was actually counting though, because I was like, okay, I can do this a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer.
Seemed like he's back there forever though.
Yeah, I mean, it took...
Do they talk to you through a microphone?
Oh, they can, but they didn't.
Oh, I thought I could hear her talking through a little microphone to somebody.
Oh, if she did, I couldn't hear her because I had earplugs in too, thank goodness. Because those things are loud. But yeah, they were really, really nice. And like I said, it's a really, really cool machine. I've only ever seen the regular MRI machines, so
Yeah.
I thought it was neat. And yeah, so I'm just really glad this was a lot closer than Baltimore.
Yeah, so they gave us the 2-disc so that we could upload it, but the actual report won't be done until later today or tomorrow, and they'll send that directly to Johns Hopkins. So hopefully they'll upload it to her MyChart so that we can actually see what's going on without having to wait on them to call us. So.
Yeah, and I'm gonna call them in probably about 30 minutes or so and be like, hey, it's in the system. If you guys will just check it whenever you have time, just let them know that it's there.
Personally though, I think it's a little silly that they won't send it us directly, because this type of MRI, not all of it was covered by insurance, so we had to pay out of pocket. I'm like, if I'm having to pay for this, that report should be my report.
Yeah.
But they're sending it there, so we'll just have to wait.
Yeah, and I'll ask them when I call if they'd upload it to my chart so I can see what that says. But I figure I'll be getting a call from the PA hopefully in a day or so.
Yes.
But we're fixing it.
Well, upload is complete, so I'm going to shut this thing down and then we'll get started on our trip home.
Yep, 5 hours home.
Okay, so we made it back to the farm. Kimberly had to go to work today, but the girls and I are fixing to do a thing that we do annually that hopefully we won't have to continue to keep doing that, which is clean out this little greenhouse. First, we're going to get these sweet potatoes all packed up so we can store them in the shed. They've cured now, but I'm afraid that with the temperatures continuing to drop, they'll end up freezing if we leave them out here. So at least if we put them in the shed, they'll stay cool, but they won't be freezing. So we're going to get that done up, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do with this little greenhouse to try to keep this mess from happening again this year. Because if you look over here, you can see that's all of our pots and stuff stacked up over here that Kimberly did last year. But we always have all these vines and briars and stuff that grow up inside the edges, and we're going to see if we can't figure out a solution for that right now. But first, we're going to get these sweet potatoes all packed up so we can transport them out of here. Okay, let's get these things separated out. Okay, here's you one. We're not going to put them in the black things, Abs. We're going to put them all in these yellow. And what I want to do is try to separate them out, like the bigger ones put in one, smaller ones in another. And if you have any that look bad, then we'll put them to the side. No, that's a smaller one. Bigger ones would be like this size. Okay. That'll work for a bigger one. Just anything that looks decent size is going to be a bigger one. Oh, I had to turn on the brooders in here because the girls were complaining it was a little cold, which it's not near as bad today as it was the other day when we were filming. And many of y'all have been asking for an update on Blizzard, and we'll be giving that to you soon also. Yes, that's a bad one. Just put it like in that flat tray, the black one. Let's put the bad ones in that way we can take them out to the pigs. But yeah, the girls were complaining that it was cold, so I fired up the brooders just for a minute. They need to be cleaned out because you can tell there's dust down in them because it's not got a nice flame, but I figured to keep them working for this project, I would just go ahead and do that. If they're a little soft, like if they're the small ones and they turn soft, then they'll go in there too. Just like soft or really bad rotten. So like, see how this one is soft? That would be a bad one. But if they're not soft, then just go ahead and save them. Because like I said, we can cut off some bad spots. But yeah, we just want to get all these put up so that we will have plenty of sweet potatoes this winter. And they actually are really good. Kimberly made a sweet potato casserole with them for Thanksgiving. And turned out really nice.
Just a big one.
It'll work for big. It doesn't matter. It can go in either one. If they're just really tiny, put them in one, because they're the really, really small ones I'll save, and we'll use them for our sweet potato slips in the spring, and we won't have to buy any, which will be nice. Saving money is always nice.
Look at how rolling.
Yeah, that would be a tiny, tiny one. So put it to the side, because like I said, the real little ones, I'm going to put them in something else. That way we can use them for slips. No, just leave it on the screen for now. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, some of them broke and stuff whenever we dug them, so those we can just cut off the bad spots, and they'll still good because they've cured and dried out, so they're not going to rot from that.
Looks like a turnip.
Yep. I'll just use this for the real little ones. Pretty much anything that's usable we're going to put in some of these. And like I said, the ones that are just so small that they're really not.
Daddy, is this one good?
Huh?
Is this one good?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, if it's just got a bad spot or something, like where something, like a bug or something, we can just cut that out. But anything that's not big enough to actually use for anything, I'm going to put in this box. And like I said, those are the ones I'm going to try to do for a sweet potato slip bed. We may have to get more crates. For the most part, all these cured out really well. Like I said, there's some that did not, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how these did.
I've been putting
Any of them. What are you talking about?
I've put big ones and
Well, I mean, if they're not really giant, it doesn't matter. Because like I said, the way we're going to use them up, it'll be fine. If they were just really big, we were putting them somewhere. But this has some mixed sizes too, so it's not a big deal.
It kind of looks like a rock.
We may end up just putting them in everything and then figuring it out later. There's really not that many that are bad, which is nice. And like I said, they may not necessarily be bad, but with them being soft, I just figure they have a higher chance of rotting. Because like I said, some of the smaller ones will be squishier than big ones, but as long as it doesn't feel like they're about to rot, I'm keeping them. What?
That feels so
Oh, the heat.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and don't worry, I know there's some dead grass and stuff around here, but we've got a water hose close by if something happens, and I'm not going to leave these on. It's just to keep them warm, to keep them working. Because like I said, before I actually put these to real use, I've definitely got to get a wire brush or something to get the little things cleaned out, because they are not burning clean right now, and this one was burning worse than what this one was. So let me see if I can find another crate. I think that, yeah, there's one right over here. Next year what we're going to do is prepare our sweet potato beds a little bit better, and hopefully they won't get overrun with weeds, and they'll actually produce bigger potatoes, and we won't have so many small ones. Plus, since I'm starting my own slips, I can get them in earlier too. Because I'll set the slips in dirt inside the greenhouse where it'll be nice and toasty, and they'll start producing early.
That's like a fortune cookie.
Yeah, it does.
Abby, look.
Go show them your rubber ducky and go show them your fortune cookie. See if everybody agrees. Does that look like a rubber ducky to y'all? Okay, and does this look like a fortune cookie? But if we break it open, there's no paper in it though.
We'll eat this, the rubber ducky.
You're gonna eat the rubber ducky?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat that fortune cookie.
Y'all did pretty good on these. There's very few that are not what I would say soft. This little pan right here is the soft ones. We'll take those out to the animals here in a minute. And let me go ahead and get this lined out how we want these. Oh, wrong way.
Want my potatoes?
Not yet, because I'm going to get this other partial basket and fill up this other one, and then figure out how I need to line them out. Okay, so here is how all of our sweet potatoes turned out. We've got them in mainly 4 crates, and then this is the little ones we're going to use for slips, and these are the little ones that are soft that we're going to do something else with. But let me show you what we're doing. As y'all know before, back here we always had these boards just lined up across these cinder blocks for our shelves. The problem with that is whenever pots and stuff get knocked over or bumped, it'll dump stuff, and that's became an issue. So what I plan on doing, actually using these screens right here for the sweet potatoes, is what gave me the idea. I'm going to build 2x4 frames, run hardware cloth down the top, and use that for the shelves, so that even if we have smaller pots or something that we set on it, they won't actually fall through. They'll sit on top of the wire, where on these boards they became warped and stuff over time, so it was easy for stuff to fall off and knock off. If it was very small, then they just wouldn't sit on there as well anyhow, and you'd have to use trays or something to hold them up. But if we use hardware cloth for the tops and make essentially a table that will drain, then we should be able to use all sizes of pots and everything and make this a lot better. And I've also got to figure out what we're going to do, because what's happened, I've got weed guard on the ground in here, and it works pretty good, but all around the edges I have stuff that grows in from the outside, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. It's been an issue ever since we've had this, because there's Johnson grass and everything, because this used to be a pasture. And so I've got to figure out what I'm going to do to keep that down on the outside. I don't know, maybe if I do better at weed eating and mowing, it might keep it down, but it's growing up underneath the walls on the inside, and I can't really do that inside here, so I got to figure out some way to keep that from happening, or I've got to stay on top of it inside. And maybe with some real tables built like I was saying, it'll be easier to do, because like with the boards, if you try to get there, if you bump them, they can spin, flop, and everything, and it just makes a big mess. And so that would also make it hard to do around the edges. So hopefully with a little bit of building and a few modifications, we can make this little greenhouse work amazing. Also, we're going to build something special in here for a special little animal on our farm that we'll have to show you later. But it's going to be pretty neat, and it's going to save us a lot of time and money later on if it works out. But that's going to be a project for another day. And we're fixing to take out these old sweet potatoes, or the bad ones, and feed them to the pigs. Look at these little guys here and how much they're growing. Their feeder is working great. They are making a little bit of a mess with it, but so far they really like it. They're getting friendlier. Y'all can go ahead and bring those over if y'all want to start giving them a treat, and just give them a couple and let's see how they like them. I know they ate the peels the other day.
Anywhere.
You may have to break the tip off it where they can smell it. Because once they smell what it is, they'll probably want it then. Look at that. They like that. I have to come out and dump and refill their water every day because they make a mess of it. Don't give all of them to them, because we'll take some to Hulky.
Okay, I'm breaking the tips off for them.
But they are going to town on this. They love every time we bring them fresh veggies or something for a treat. Save some of the bigger ones for Hulk.
Okay, so we'll give the little ones to them.
Not all the little ones, because Hulk will eat those too, but just so they got a nice treat.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a long skinny one.
But yeah. They love sweet potatoes. So you don't have to pick those up yet, They're going to be here for a minute. Let them watch these cute little piggies, Delaware and Peggy, go to town on these.
There's a mini fortune cookie.
Yeah. That is pretty cute. Okay, even with the feeder over there, they are still rooting this up. I mean, I know it's just a pig thing, but they have rooted all of this up. So we're going to be probably expanding this pen pretty soon. Let them root up some more of this ground up here, because we're going to smooth this out and do some other stuff with it in the spring. And they're just helping us get all these roots and stuff out of here from this old Johnson grass, and hopefully it'll make it a little easier to deal with next year. What are you doing? Crazy little pig. Okay. Yep, so we're going to let them finish their snack, and we're going to go give some to Hulk. Okay, before we go over to Hulk, Abby wanted to let y'all see Charger. Somebody asked about having a full-size horse or something the other day. Charger's the only full-size horse on the whole place. He's old, and yeah, he's an old man. We don't ride him, but he's fun to love on and take care of. Kind of got scammed whenever my parents bought him, because he ended up having an old injury that I guess they'd given him a bunch of meds or something whenever they sold him and didn't say anything about. But whenever we took him, they took him and had him x-rayed, and he had a cracked ankle or something like that. And so he can't be ridden, but he still just lives out his life here on the farm and enjoying himself, getting all the loves and pets that he can.
Now, we do have a mini pony you can ride.
Yeah, we do have a mini pony, little bit. But yeah, Charger just living his best life here on the farm. Okay, so now we're going to go see Hulk. Okay, so here's Mr. Hulk. Everybody knows he loves lots of good treats. If y'all want to bring those closer, you want to walk so far with them. Look how fat he's gotten. I mean, he is really putting on some weight up here. Which eventually, like I said, when we get the other fencing done, he's going to go back out in the big pasture. But I've just got to get that fencing replaced, because over the years, it's about 10 years old with the different cows and stuff we've had in there. They've just got a lot of spots that he can get out of. And so as soon as we get that done or get a different spot, we're going to move him out of here and get him back in a big area where he can be with all of his friends. Because right now, the only ones he has come visit him is the yard goats, because they'll actually climb through the fence and get in there with him. And it looks like Mr. Hulk Man has been trying to raise this up. I hope not. But yeah, he's been rooting this up some too. So that's another thing, is now that we've got different pens, as soon as we get some more pens, we're getting all these animals outside of our front yard area and going to get this fixed up and have it a nice yard, which we'll have to pick up some rocks, smooth things up and all that. But that's just going to be a good summer or spring project to work on. But look at that. Is he not gorgeous? It's crazy how wide he is. And truth be known, he really doesn't eat all that much, because we don't just feed him. Like the little pigs have nonstop access to feed. He does not, because he would just be a big pile of lard and probably would be so fat that he couldn't walk. So we limit his feed, but as you can tell by how big he is, he's getting plenty. But we're going to let him finish up his treat. Some people have been asking, how has Blizzard been doing since we got the fence around the top? Well, there he is over there, still in the pen doing what Blizzard does best, protecting his little goats. Well, that's pretty much all we're going to have for you today. We did get Kimberly's MRI sent in, called and confirmed. They have received them, so now we're just waiting to see what they say so we can get something scheduled and hopefully get some answers and things figured out. Now it's just a waiting game. It's like everything is a hurry up and wait. And we have done our part to get everything done as quick as we can. So now we're just waiting on the doctors, and they've been really well about handling stuff and getting it done quick. So hopefully they'll have some answers soon, and we'll have an appointment or something so we can get things figured out. I'm just ready to hear what the results are from the final MRI. Like I said, they wouldn't send us the results. They'd only send them to the doctor. So not really happy about that, but it is what it is. And whenever Kimberly called and talked to them yesterday to make sure, they were like, the surgeon was actually just talking about you. So hopefully they're staying on top of it, and that means that we're going to get something done really quick. But we'll keep you updated on that, and that's all we got for you today, and we'll catch you next time on Grounds Family Farm. Bye.
Peace. Bye.